I think I may have fixed Saw 4 because last time I watched it, I noticed one line that changes this whole movie that maybe will make you appreciate it more and like it more. But we'll get into that later because first we're tearing the traps, starting with the mausoleum. Now, I was never too big of a fan of this trap. I never really liked the location. It's very gray slash brownish. You know, usually with Saw, I like my traps green or blue, something like that. That's usually more the Saw feel to me personally. You know, last time we came up with the term Sawish, it doesn't look very Sawish, this trap in general. I also don't like the fact that the bald dude hears some muffling sounds and immediately starts throwing axes at the dude. Like, what the fuck? Chill the fuck out, dude. You know, like, if you wake up with your eyes sewn shut, that's horrifying. I can't imagine what kind of emotions are going through you, but if I hear someone muffling in that scenario, I'd be like, okay, likely that isn't the dude that did this to me, you know? The worst part about the strap, though, to me, is that they use the strap for the title card. He rips open his mouth and starts screaming, and then you get the title card, and that's just like so lame to me because, okay, if you're gonna do that anyways, do that in the first place. Rip open the stitches first, talk to the dude, get the key, and free both of your asses. For as stupid as it is, I do enjoy the scene just fine. But all in all, I think I would put it D because it's still pretty bad. I mean, I would almost put it C since, but nah. I mean, it's definitely more on the negative side, so D. Rick's trial, I will tear first, and I think many of you will be shocked, but I'm gonna put it A. Now, I hope nobody will correct me wrong. I hope I'm actually right on this, but last time I watched it, I noticed one line in particular that changes this whole movie for me. That changes the way I look at this movie in its entirety. Agent Strom, at some point in the movie, says that Riggs is being recruited. That's the point of the movie, guys.
This wasn't about Riggs saving his friends. He's being recruited.
That one line changes the whole movie because every time everyone's like, well, why was he being tested for being a good person? That's such a stupid thing. But he was being tested to see that, hey, if I don't help people, they have to help themselves, and that way they can become a better person. You know, I'm not saying I agree with all of that, but that's what John Kramer thinks. And then it makes sense. It makes sense that he's being tested. Because it's like, okay, if you can see what John Kramer sees, then he'd be a perfect accomplice. Riggs was being tested to become the next accomplice. Of course, he failed miserably, and we don't see him ever again in the franchise. Still, I feel like there are people that would have been much more deserving of being tested this heavily. Also, I don't really like the fact that he has to go to all kinds of different locations. There's nothing really stopping him from getting backup, right? Did I miss something? Now, I really also hope that no one comes up with something that debunks what I just said about him being recruited rather than tested, because truly this makes me love the movie more. I think it's something unique and something different from the first 3 Saw movie. That's why I put it A. I genuinely think that too many people missed this line maybe, or maybe I was just an idiot. The scalping scene is fucking painful. As someone with long hair, I can feel this. I think people with short hair can feel this. Fuck, man. This is one of those traps that's just really fucking painful. I hate watching this one. This is one of those traps that really makes me want to watch with my eyes closed because, yeah. It's horrible. I would put it S, but I don't think it's that iconic where I would put it S. And also the transitions are way overdone. Like, jeez, man, you gotta chill out with those fucking transitions, man. Like, what the fuck is going on here? So yeah, that's why I wouldn't put it S, but instead I would put it A. The bedroom trap is one of those traps that I just love because I genuinely think this is one of those people that really deserve being in the trap. This isn't one of those occasions where you're like, okay, well, you just called in sick for work. Who hasn't done that? However, it is one of those kind of silly traps, you know, like it's just so over the top with all those like spikes flying and whatever and the limbs being torn, and just all in all, I don't think this trap is very Saw-ish. So yeah, I would say B, honestly. The spike trap is another occasion where it isn't very Saw-ish to me. Like, it just lacks that heavy metal, rusty, bloody feel, you know? Just take a look, for example, at the reverse bear trap. It looks heavy, rusty, dirty, old, just fucking cool. And then you take a look at this and it's like, it's just spikes. Like spikes, thin, long spikes That's the lightest metal there is, probably. I think it is creative that, you know, she was stabbed in spots that weren't fatal if she pulled out the spikes. But yeah, it's also a bit fucked up that she's being tested. You know, this is the perfect example. You know, you get from the bedroom trap where a rapist is being tested, fucking deserved. And then you get to a test where someone is being tested because she was afraid to stand up for herself against domestic abuse. Huh? Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just really far-fetched with John Kramer thinking he's doing the right thing because, like, no. I'm gonna put this one C. I think the ice block trap is cool as fuck. It's like throughout the whole movie, it's a ticking bomb pretty much. It's one of those iconic, in my opinion, head explosions. You know, sort of Scanners-esque. It's kind of that classic visual. And I would put it A, I guess, because it's not like a trap scene in and of itself, but the gore that does happen is really cool to see. So yeah, I think A is a fair spot for that one. Perez and Strom's trial gets a little convoluted and complicated in my opinion, because there's a lot of different scenarios that could play out here, especially since it's not in one location. It's not like Saw 2, where everything happens within the house. There it's at least like, okay, they're always in this house. A lot of shit can still happen. A lot can go wrong for John Kramer's plan, for the victims, everything. But at least it's in the same house, so that kind of, you know, makes it a bit more believable that John Kramer planned all kinds of scenarios out. Here it's not that believable, because they could get a plane ticket to Bali and just fucking ditch rig and just be in the Bahamas or something. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this leaves a lot to chance. And I know John Kramer at some point says, I don't leave anything to chance. That's fucking bullshit. Of course, part of the trial was also Strom going to the meatpacking plant. And then John had it planned out that he would be in the same room with Jeff. And he would shoot Jeff, which is one of the stupidest scenes ever in my opinion. I like the twist that Saw 3 and 4 take place at the same time. It gets convoluted, and it also is a bit of the stretch of the imagination that, you know, John Kramer was doing those two games at the same time while he was on his deathbed. Like, that just is like, fucking hell, man, slow down. But I especially hate the fact that Jeff is like, where's the fuck is my daughter? And he like pulls the gun, and I'm like, dude, what? It's a guy in a suit. Strom is just a guy in a suit. Does he not look trustworthy to you? I mean, Jeff probably just had some bad experience with the lawyer dude, for example, or a car salesman in the past, and he just doesn't trust people in suits anymore. In the entirety of Saw 3, whenever he sees anyone, he's like being a dumbass and being way too fucking slow. Yet here, instantly he's like, where the fuck is my daughter? All in all, that's all part of the trial. Another part of the trial eventually is, of course, the water box trap, but we'll get to that in Saw 5, so I'm not counting that one. So yeah, I'm gonna put this one E, honestly. I don't really like it. The knife chair, however, I love. I like that this is a very personal trap. I like that John Kramer is there in person. That makes it really different. Usually John Kramer is there with the traps in Billy form, of course. You can hear his voice, but you see the Billy visual on a TV screen. But here he's sitting right there looking at it. And I feel like this is also a very important part of John Kramer's origin story, which I like that this movie dives into that a bit more. I feel like the trap is very painful. I like that it kind of goes wrong for once, because this whole movie you're supposed to buy and believe a lot of convoluted shit that just is fucking impossible. So I like that it finally shows John Kramer weak, you know, John Kramer fails. I think that's only a good thing, you know. I think the Saw franchise really needed that more every once in a while, you know, or at least show in some way that John Kramer planned one thing, but it goes the other way. Maybe some people would argue that that would show some weakness from John, but I don't think so. If John got scared after him falling from the chair and being like, oh, you're dead, man. And then John's like, oh my god. But he doesn't do that. The only thing he does is like, oh shit. Like, he just stands there for a bit like, oh shit, that just happened. So I don't think it's a problem. I don't think it shows John too weak or makes him less intimidating. Because eventually, that too, he jumps into the barbed wire trap. So we get the barbed wire trap again, which I really like that. I really like that it sort of foreshadows future events, which obviously happened in the first movie. It's just this fucking timeline, man. But yeah, I mean, this one easily goes S. Then we get to, quality-wise, an opposite trap. Please, if you have not seen Saw 4 for a while, tell me what this trap is. I'll wait. You don't know, right? Either that, or you're a Saw super fan, or you saw Saw 4 recently. Personally, I saw Saw 4 recently. I don't really remember what this trap does. You know why? Because it's useless. It's a garbage trap, man. It does nothing. It doesn't do anything. It's just there. It's around his spine. That's it. In my opinion, it's probably the worst trap in the whole franchise. I'll be honest with you. Because say what you want about Saw 3D, and we'll get to that movie, okay? I defend that movie with my life. Say what you want about Saw 3D and the public trap. It's entertaining, it's fun, we got some gore. Here, this is just nothing. So yeah, I'm gonna put this one F, easily. Hoffman's test, I love the whole location. I love John Kramer's body being in front of him as he's listening to the test. I think it's such a badass scene. Obviously, Costas is my homeboy. I love that dude. If you haven't seen my vlog where I got to meet him, check it out. It was like the best experience ever. He's the nicest guy you could possibly wish for. So I'm maybe a bit biased with this test, but I love that you get to see this at the beginning and it's a twist, even though it's a bit convoluted again. I like the way it sets up the next movie and Hoffman as an accomplice. He's my favorite Jigsaw accomplice. I love that guy. And that was before I met him, by the way. I always loved the Hoffman character. I'm gonna have to put this one A, honestly. So yeah, there's my list. I really enjoy Saw 4 a lot, but by doing this tier list, I realized that it's a very hit or miss movie in terms of traps. So yeah, anyways, do you agree with me or do you not agree with me at all? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, click over here to see the other Saw traps tier lists, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya.